The Korath Dam was built in a region that had never officially recorded a river. Old maps showed dry land, cracked soil, and abandoned valleys. Yet when construction teams arrived, they found a massive reservoir already filled halfway with dark water. No rainfall had occurred in the area that year. No upstream source existed. Still, the dam was already full. Engineers initially assumed underground aquifers were feeding it, but drilling tests revealed nothing beneath the basin. No caverns, no water table, no inflow system at all. The water simply existed. Dr. Adrian Vail, hydrology lead, wrote in his early report. Reservoir level is stable without identifiable source. Water appears to be self-maintaining. That sentence was later classified. On the 5th day of monitoring, strange patterns began appearing on the surface of the water. Not waves, not ripples, but geometric formations. Perfect circles that formed and dissolved without any external force. At night, those circles reflected light in ways that didn't match physics. It looked like the water was reacting to observation, as if it knew it was being studied. Adrian installed sonar equipment beneath the dam. At 140 meters depth, the sensors detected something impossible. A second structure beneath the reservoir. Not natural rock, not sediment layers, but a perfectly symmetrical dam-like formation inverted below the first. Adrian requested submersible verification. Denied. He deployed it anyway. The submersible descended for 9 minutes before communication began breaking down. At 11 minutes, the feed stabilized again. But the image had changed. The camera was now pointing upward. Above it was the underside of the dam, and beneath that, another reservoir, another dam, reversed, infinite layering. Then a voice appeared in the audio feed. "You are inside the reflection." The transmission cut. When the submersible was recovered, it was dry, completely dry, no water damage, no corrosion. As if it had never entered the reservoir at all. That night, Adrian stood alone at the edge of the dam. The water surface was still, but his reflection moved a second too late, and smiled when he did not. The Varellin Hydro Station was one of the most advanced energy systems ever built. It powered 3 cities and had 0 recorded failures in its first decade of operation. But engineers noticed something strange in year 11. Power output was increasing without additional water flow. At first, it was celebrated as efficiency improvement. Then it became impossible to ignore. The turbines were generating more energy than physically possible. Dr. Mira Kess, electrical systems analyst, was sent to investigate. Her first observation was simple. Energy output exceeds hydraulic input by 38%. But the real anomaly was not output. It was consumption. The dam was absorbing electrical noise from surrounding systems. Not just generating power, erasing energy signatures. During testing, Mira placed sensors across the facility. At 0:20 a.m., all sensors synchronized. Then, every electrical device in the facility began draining simultaneously, not toward the grid, not outward, but inward, as if something inside the dam was pulling energy toward itself. Mira traced the source to the lower turbine chamber. No access point was documented, but a sealed maintenance hatch was found behind reinforced steel panels. It had no markings, no serial number, no construction record. Inside, a narrow tunnel descended into darkness. At 60 meters below, radio communication stopped working. At 120 meters, all artificial lighting flickered. At 200 meters, Mira saw something ahead, a glowing chamber made of metallic walls that pulsed faintly like a heartbeat, and inside it, cables, millions of them, extending into darkness below, connected to nothing visible. At the center of the chamber stood a structure resembling a turbine, but far larger than anything human-made. It was not generating electricity. It was consuming it. Myra's audio recorder captured one final message. Power is not produced here. A pause, then. It is fed. The recording ends. Above ground, the dam continued functioning normally. But now, energy output was increasing every hour, as if something below had started learning how to demand more. The Hallstrom Dam was considered a marvel of modern engineering. Built in a deep mountain valley, it was designed to withstand earthquakes, floods, and structural failure. But it had one strange rule. No worker could stay longer than 21 days. At first, this was blamed on psychological fatigue. Then patterns emerged. Workers who stayed longer than 3 weeks began reporting identical symptoms: memory confusion, dream overlap, hallucinations involving the dam itself speaking to them. Dr. Ethan Rourke, a cognitive neurologist, was assigned to study these cases. He interviewed affected workers. Every single one described the same experience, not similar, identical. They all dreamed of walking inside the dam, not near it, inside it, where corridors extended endlessly downward, where water flowed through sealed concrete walls like veins, where the structure itself seemed aware. Ethan installed neural monitoring equipment on new workers. On day 17, brainwave activity began synchronizing across all subjects. On day 20, they entered REM sleep simultaneously. On day 21, something changed. All subjects woke up at the exact same time and began describing memories they had not lived. They remembered parts of the dam they had never entered. Rooms that did not exist, maintenance corridors not built in physical plans. Then Ethan reviewed architectural blueprints and found discrepancies. Entire sections of the dam were missing from official design records, but not missing in reality, because those sections were functional, active, occupied. On day 22, one worker disappeared. No breach alarms, no exit logs, just absence. His security camera showed him walking toward a wall and continuing through it. As if the structure allowed him to pass, Ethan entered the same corridor later that day. Inside the wall, he found something impossible. A corridor identical to the surface structure, but older, corroded, faintly lit, and populated with silhouettes of workers who should have died years ago, all walking slowly, repeating movements like memory loops embedded in architecture. And then one of them turned to Ethan and said, "You are still new here." Ethan ran, but when he exited, the dam above him had changed. New corridors were added overnight, without construction, without engineers, as if the dam was remembering how to grow. Corinth Dam does not reflect reality. Virelin Dam does not generate energy. Hallstrom Dam does not store water. Each one behaves like a different system. One reflects observation, one consumes energy, one stores memory. But together, they form a pattern, a system beneath human understanding. A network of structures that do not obey engineering laws, because they were not built to obey. They were built to adapt. And somewhere beneath all three dams, something is learning how to stabilize itself inside our world, not through destruction, not through collapse, but through understanding. And every time humans study it, it grows more complete.